Hey, if you're new to RVing, don't make these 3 mistakes. So the first major mistake that a lot of new RV owners, myself included, make is not doing a proper walk around before and after camping. I'm going to take you through what I do, just because obviously there's a few things, and when I say like I've done this, I rip my own stairs off, it happens to everyone. I'm going to show you a quick walk around just so you know, but this is one of the big ones and this will save you thousands. Let's go and take a quick look. So right at the front, you obviously want to start here at the front and just do a quick look. Make sure everything's strapped in proper. Pretty easy. You go right up to the propane tanks. I like to start at the front and just make sure I do this. You go your propane tanks, get them nice and open, and you close them, because you don't need to be bleeding extra propane as you go. Just close them right up, and that's the first step you want to do when you're doing your walk around. The next step is just make sure your doors are closed and locked. Like, you don't need these swinging up and down. You don't need them falling off in the wind, because honestly out here the wind is enough. Next, you check your awning, make sure that's fully down. Sometimes this doesn't go all the way in, so you want to make sure that this is fully in, just to make sure there's no major issues. Over here, now this is what I did. I forgot to close my stairs and drove away and ripped them off. So this is a big one. Just put your stairs in. Now on a modern unit, you're going to get these, so it's pretty hard to forget. But on the older units, which like mine, they pull out from underneath, and those mow-ride steps, if you hit a big bump, it'll rip off and wreck the siding. Next thing you want to do, check the tire pressure. Not a big deal, you just check them. And if you have it there, if you know it's good, this is definitely something you want to do before you go. It should still be fine on the way back, but even just doing a visual inspection, okay, we have no flats, you're good to go. Now, check your windows. You want to make sure these are all nice and closed before you go, because you don't want to have unnecessary water or debris go in there, because it'll make your cleanup way bigger. Now, let's see here. Then finally, you just check the other windows, check your other compartments, make sure everything's good, and then before you leave, you just make sure there's no chocks or blocks in the way, because you don't need to pop your tire, and you just hook her up to your truck and you're good to go. And it's exactly the same for a motorhome. You just want to make sure you check it each time. Now this is another rookie mistake that a lot of people make. Not such a big deal if you're driving a motorhome, but if you have a truck and trailer, you want to make sure, and this is super important, that you have your weight really well, because you don't need to overweight your vehicle. You don't need to do anything where you're burning out your transmission or wrecking your engine or potentially ruining your suspension. It's really easy. Honestly, all you have to do is go and quickly check, and I'll show you exactly where to go and check this. And when you're buying a new unit, this is a new, used, anything, you're buying it private, this is something you need to know so that you don't potentially need to buy another truck. Save yourself money. Save yourself a ton of money. If you don't need a new truck, don't buy a new truck. If you're driving a Colorado or a Tacoma or a smaller truck, there is hundreds if not thousands of units that work for those vehicles. If you have a full-size pickup, great, you can do everything, but it's nice to know that you don't have to if you don't need to. And I'll show you exactly where to go. Okay, so on Forest River Products, they're really good about this. So they have both their dry weight on here as well as their GVW. So this gives you both their length, their dry weight, and a few things. So any modern one will actually tell you exactly. Now, that being said, sometimes they don't have all of that information, but you can go over here and you can have your GVW over here, and it'll give you exactly what you need. Now, you'll be safe in something like this, and obviously this is pretty good for a lighter trailer or a lighter truck. But let's take you over to an older unit, an older fifth wheel, because these are a little harder to find, but you know what, it doesn't matter, it still has the same information. So this one won't have the dry weight necessarily, but what it will have is your actual GVRW. So your GVRW right here, your 12,000 pounds, a little over that and some change, but your carrying capacity is 9,904 kilograms. So call it 2,200 pounds. So your probably dry rate is around that 9,000 pounds. And so if you know that, you're going to be okay. And this is, you probably want to tow this with a half ton, or full ton, 1 ton, sorry, 1 ton. But a 3/4 would handle this just fine. Okay, and now I have one more. This one's pretty important. And this is going to save you tons of money, especially over time. It has to do with your batteries, your hitch, and your tire pressure. So we'll go and quickly look at it, because this is something you should kind of check every time you go camping or when you're putting into storage. And I'll show you what to do. So if you're putting her into storage, you're going to want to probably pull the battery, or at very least, because a lot of these newer units actually have a kill switch put on it, and you can just turn the kill switch off. So once you have that kill switch off, you can actually stop pulling power from the battery and it'll help keep it. But the problem is in the winter, it's still going to freeze, so you're better off to take them right off and store it inside on a trickle charger so you don't worry about that. That's the first one. The next one, now this is when you're actually hooking it up. Anybody who's done this before, it's not hard, it's not rocket science, but you have it locked into place, but just double check the hitch, because sometimes right here where the actual tongue hits, it can get caught on the top and you're not actually locked in, and you can hit one bump and this is coming directly into your tailgate. So just double check. Honestly, it's a minute of extra work, but you're saving yourself the damage on your truck, the damage on your trailer, and potentially the risk on the road. And it's an easy one to do. I'm not saying any of you do it, but at the end of the day, it's an easy one to get to do. And then, obviously, I know I already covered this, but just every time you go camping, just check your tire pressure. Some of these newer units have the tire pressure built into it. Now this one here is a 2019, so it doesn't have in it. So just having a tire pressure gauge, even just inspecting, just for a visual inspection to make sure that they look good, but just checking it real quick, making sure that you have the right pressure, because having either too low or too high tire pressure can end up in a blowout and honestly just ruining your whole entire camping experience for that day. Hope you found this enjoyable. Hope this helped a little bit. And if you enjoy the content, I would love a like and subscribe. Other than that, hopefully I can see you guys soon at South Thompson. Chat soon.